You're listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 193, the Deep Purple New Year Special 2022 into 2023. And coming to you from the year-end suburbs of Chicago, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Baby New Year's Matola.
You were sleeping like a baby right before the show. You almost missed the ball drop because I was like, "Hey, are you going to be joining me on this call?"
I know, like found myself with some extra time today, and then I just like conk out on the couch, and like my phone is like on my chest, and I feel a buzz, and Nate's just like, "You showing up, or like, am I doing this by myself?" It's, oh shit!
I just do it myself. Yeah, it wouldn't be as much fun.
Oh God, but that's
good thing you had the buzzer on. If it wasn't on you, if it was in the other room or something, you'd still be sleeping.
Oh God, yeah. So you're like, and you just have like a blank screen with just like my.
Yeah, I would just call like Rich and Pete and Mark and see if I could dial them all back in. Hey guys, we're having another party.
We need a pinch hitter because Matola's a lazy slob and he's sleeping one off over there. That's what I do when I have extra time. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll stay up. Yeah, I'm always the same way, right? Yeah, I'll stay up. I'll just watch some TV while lying down. That won't create any issues.
Yeah, it should be fine. What
every
could possibly
time.
Happen?
Every time. I'm that guy that everybody hates. It's just like, oh, yeah, let's watch a movie together. And as soon as I lie down, they're like, well, he's done. We're not watching. We're watching the movie. He's taking a nap.
So many times I try to watch something. Like if I can watch one episode at the end of the night, I'm good. But usually I just zonk out.
But I feel like Baby New Year was like my nickname last year. But you know what? So what? Who cares? I'm repeating myself.
I don't remember.
Neither do I. So let
our
somebody
listeners
else
might remember. They're very they pay attention to those details. But
yeah, I think maybe somebody that listens to multiple shows like Rich or Scott can tell me.
Yeah. Some of the mega fans can tell us. But anyway, speaking of mega fans, if you want to help support the show, you can do so a number of ways. One is to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That gets you a little run on one of our fancy percussion instruments back here. And you know what? I'm asking for a new percussion instrument to arrive soon. So maybe we'll even have a new thing coming to the show if we get any podcast reviews. So more on that later, I hope.
Maybe a juice harp.
How did you know?
Oh no, really?
Yeah, that was what I was gonna.
Oh man, that
was a very good guess.
And we have a new patron.
Great.
Wow. He didn't even tell me, folks. I just guessed. That's how on my tip he is.
Yep, we're on each other's tip.
I remember. Do you remember that? I was just like, when that came out, I was like, "Hey Nate, I'm on your tip," and you're like, "Don't say that."
when the article came out.
Yeah, when the article came out, you're like, that doesn't sound good. Don't say that.
Yeah, say Butters instead.
Say Butters.
But do you remember Paul's dad had in his study? He had like do you ever go in his dad's study at his house?
Maybe, I mean, obviously not as many times as you, but I mean, I'm sure I did.
It was a really cool. Like I just loved that little room. It was like a little room. Like when you went around the staircase, it was almost like underneath the staircase, and it was just this great room, all wood shelves on both sides.
Yes,
and like a little central wooden shelf, and then he had a computer by the window. It was just like the coolest room. And when you first walked in, there was like a little cabinet there, and it had a bunch of instruments. He had like a crumb horn and a record. He would have been great in Blackmore's Night. He could have subbed in. He had a crumb horn, a recorder, like a bass clarinet, all this stuff. But then he had a Jews harp there, and we just tried it. We could never get it to sound cool like it sounded like when you heard somebody actually play it. So I was looking up for one, and I was like, I'm gonna ask for this as a gift. And and then I looked up a video because I was like, we could never make any noise. All it did is end up hurting our teeth. So
yeah, I remember that because I'm pretty sure that that somebody did you have one a while ago, or did somebody have one? Somebody had one. I don't know
I
if it was
never
like
had one, no.
you or maybe E-Rock had one at one point, and we're like, oh, let's try it. And we put it up here, we're like, bang, we're like, oh, my
Yeah.
teeth.
Ow! It didn't even go to boing. It just went. Oh, your teeth hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah, not good. Speaking
Because
of which, my
back then we didn't have any YouTube videos to look up and be like, all right, how would we actually do this?
right, exactly. I was just like I was on my own with a Jew's harp. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this thing. But speaking of teeth, my son last night comes out of the um my daughter was brushing her teeth and I was in the bathroom and he comes running in and he's like, oh, and he's got his hand up. He's holding a payday bar in one hand and there's just blood everywhere. And I'm like, what the hell happened? So one of his molars that was attached to his braces came out, like, because it's still a baby tooth.
Oh shit.
Um, and he's 10 going, be 11 next summer. But it popped out. But the thing is, it was still attached to the braces, like just hanging there. So he's like, oh, he's got this bloody payday bar. It was a gruesome scene. So I was like, shit. So
Well, wait a minute. They put. I'll ask this question after you're done.
yeah. Well, your question is going to be, they put braces on baby teeth. Yes,
Yeah.
because like basically the way his teeth are coming in, like he's got 2 or 3 adult teeth coming in to trying to take the spot of one tooth. So you need to kind of spread out all those baby teeth so that there's room for the adult teeth to come in. And he's lost a few teeth while he's had the braces.
But okay, so what? But what happens? Does the thing? Do the things come off the braces, or does it get all messed
No, it's
up?
just
Like,
because the little bracket is still on the tooth and it's on the wire for the braces, but it can't come off.
so what is he just going to walk around like that until the
So,
next trip to the dentist?
but he couldn't eat anything because it was basically like if he was biting down, like it could be perfectly straight, it could be hanging down, so he couldn't eat anything. It would be impossible.
All right,
So
but wait a minute. What a payday bar? Isn't that like hard nougat or something like that with the peanuts?
it's the peanuts and the caramel, yeah.
What is he doing eating that with braces? First of
I
all,
He loves them. He loves paydays.
you're not
He
you're
got
not
them for
supposed to. I had braces when I was a kid. You're not supposed to eat that shit when you have braces because
well,
that's what happens. I mean,
he
he'd
doesn't.
still lose the tooth anyways, but it probably wouldn't be like a friggin' like a horror movie.
It was at first I was like, what happened? Yeah, well, he doesn't play by your rules, man. He wanted a payday bar, so I don't even know what happened. So anyway,
I feel
so
like that sounds like a normal. The way you told the story, like another day in the Beaudry household.
oh yeah, this
Like,
is very normal. It's
I
not
oh.
somebody runs into the room with blood coming out of their mouth. I was like, what is it now?
what what do you want? What's
I
going
was
on? What are you
just
bleeding about now?
I was just glad it wasn't his brother kicking him in the teeth or something. But
Hmm.
so anyway, I say, hey, you're gonna just have to go to sleep like this. We'll figure it out in the morning. I'll call the orthodontist. He's like, I can't sleep like this. I'm like, well, bad news. You're gonna have to. So he goes to sleep. He went to sleep fine. So the morning I wake up, I call the orthodontist. They're like, we're closed, and I'm like, what? And I look on their website. They're closed Saturdays, Sundays, and Tuesdays. I'm like, what the who's closed on a Tuesday? So I called the emergency number. I'm like, hey, what am I supposed to do here? And they're like, well, we got some like random person that might be in the office, so you can go in. They'll take care of it. And sure enough, I went in, even though they weren't open. I gave a little knock. They
The
opened
janitor
the door.
opens the door.
The janitor, he's got, let me put down this mop. I'll get that thing off.
Come on in. It's like what's his name? Like Michael Richards from UHF.
He's like, oh. Sees the blood. He's like, oh. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they got it off, and it was off to the races.
But wait a minute. A random. What do you mean? They just have like somebody like a
I didn't understand it. They were like,
part-time
oh,
staff in
we've got
there?
that office is closed, but we're all at the office in Winnetka today. And I'm like, don't tell me I got to drive up to Winnetka. Winnetka's where the Home Alone was filmed. And not that has any frame of reference for anybody for where I am, but it's far from here. It's like an hour from here. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to be driving up there so you can just go blink. And I was like, I even like got my wire cutters. I was like, could I just like snip that thing off? I'm like, nah. I didn't want. I just had visions of me doing that, and then the whole thing would just go, like it would like unravel, and it'd just be braces flowing all over the place. And I'd have to give him another $1,000 to fix it. So,
Oh God.
but anyway,
Come here, kid. Open your mouth.
So anyway, so I got off on a tangent there. You can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We'll play. We'll now
that was
you know
a fun
what the,
tangent.
now you know what the mystery instrument is.
And I did not know what it was ahead of time. I just made a really good guess.
No, that was a very good guess because there's how many like hundreds of percussion, but it's not even really a percussion instrument, whatever you would call it. But there's so many different instruments like that. But that was a great guess. You can also buy merch at our Etsy store, which is still open. You can become a patron on Patreon. If you do that, Patreon or PayPal, $1 a month, you get access to our patrons only Discord, and you get access to our exclusive rating spreadsheet, so you can look at them and tell us what we got wrong. Look at it over the course of history. We're also on Cash App at $DPPOD. If you want to leave a Cash App, like a one-time, or I don't even know if you can do a recurring thing through Cash App. Maybe you can. For all you youngsters out there, all you young Deep Purple fans who have to be like 20 years younger than us at least to be able to know how to use Cash App. So speaking of patrons,
Hey-o!
We have a new patron at the £3 tier, none other than Simon Ford, who is someone that I've been in communication with for a really long time. I've been listening to the show and back and forth and messages and stuff. So we're excited that he joined the patron club. It just came in right before the show. So I don't have like a welcome message or anything, and maybe by the end of the show we will. So I reached out for a welcome message, and I don't have a name for the £3 tier yet either. So we'll have to come up with he'll have to come up with something, or we'll have to come up with something for that. So more on that later. Maybe by the end of the episode we'll have a Simon Ford note or something from him.
I thought you were going to say Simon McBride.
He's
a patron, a three pound patron.
Like,
hey, kick in a little bit more, McBride.
I would feel guilty taking money from Simon McBride. I think we should be giving him money to go see him play. So thanks to our executive level patrons that are our executive level tier or section. At the $25 Uncommon Man tier, we have Ovis Nakfi and Purple Maniac. At the £10 tier, Dr. Jill Brees. At the turn it up to $11 tier, Clay Wambacher, Frank Teelgard Mortensen, Alan Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and Mikkel Steen. And at the $10 Someone Came tier, Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans, and Kev Roberts and his wonderful children, Matthew, Gareth, and Sarah. Thank you so much to all of your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. We could not do it without you. All right. Well, we've talked about our new patron. That means there's only one thing left. That's right, folks. Postcards from the Edge of Connecticut. This one is more than a postcard. Coming in here, it's a full-on note. So it says, Nate, thank you for having myself along with Rich and Mark as guests on the 2022 Deep Purple Podcast Christmas episode. It was a lot of fun meeting up with the New England DPP folks. Enclosed is the NRBQ Christmas Wish Deluxe Edition. It is my Xmas favorite. Best to all, I hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, Pete. And I don't know why he's talking about Thanksgiving. That was ages ago. We're on New Year's already. But here it is, the NRBQ Christmas album that he referenced on the show.
Uh-huh.
And I have already listened to it twice. It's really good. I love it. So I really appreciate Pete sending this along. I always love getting every year getting new both Christmas movies and Christmas albums to add to the collection of things that I listen to every year. This is cool. It's very eclectic. It's very like some really short songs, some like little quick live snippets. It's I think it's like 17 tracks or something, but a lot of fun. So I highly recommend it. I checked, it's not on Spotify or anything, so I ripped it to my on my iTunes list that I can play on my Sonos. It's part of my Christmas playlist already. So I'm really enjoying that. So thank you very much, Pete. But hey, that's not all. Got another one here, another postcard. You might say, that doesn't say Connecticut. It says Austin Motel. So close, yet so far out.
And it looks a little phallic.
It does. The Austin Motel. Somebody's happy to be in Austin. And that person that's happy to be in Austin is Mark Roback. It says, hey, Nate and John. Greetings from Austin, Texas. This postcard is something right off of Coverdale's Twitter page.
Yep. See, he knows.
Who knows? I'm surprised that the hotel isn't named after our 36th president, Lynn Baines. Love the podcast, Mark Roback. Get the Lynn Baines. I looked it up, and it just Lyndon Johnson is obviously that was the president. I guess. Oh wait, maybe he's saying Lyndon Baines. That would make a lot more sense. That's a D. Okay. Lyndon Baines Johnson. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
She's like Lynn. Who's Lynn Baines? But yeah. Thank you very much for those great little notes. We really appreciate you guys coming on the show and enjoying getting the notes and enjoying that Christmas album. So thank you so much, both of you. Oof. All right, John. So this week we're going to do something. I should say we are part of the Deep Dive Podcast Network. Check out all the great shows. There's new shows coming up all the time. Check out deepdivepodcastnetwork.com for more information. Check out the Twitter handle if you want to get involved there. So we're talking about. There was actually some talk today about getting some stuff going for an ad for the podcast, the network, and everything. Even though it's we're not like a real active network, but it's just kind of fun to band together with these guys. So there'll be more to come on the Deep Dive Podcast Network this year. So, all right. So this week, what happened was we put out on our socials, what are your favorite moments from the last, or favorite episodes from the last year? Some people mentioned specific moments. Some people mentioned specific episodes. So we put together a list of clips from the past year of all of our guest or all of our fan favorite moments, and we're gonna listen to it. It's a top 15 list.
Okay.
Top 15 moments of 2022.
I like that.
I like it too. And I say next year, if there's any devout fan out there that wants to catalog some of these great moments with timestamps throughout 2023, please do it, because it was jumping around in these episodes. Basically, people were like, "Oh, I really like this episode," and I was like, "Well, crap, what happened in that episode?" So I just open it up and like skip around randomly until I heard us laughing, and then I go back a little and say, "Okay, that's a good clip." So that's pretty much how this came about. So, yeah,
sounds fun.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, it should be a good time. John and I will kind of shut up and let these clips speak for themselves. And I don't know. With that, are you ready to get into the?
Yeah. What's a New Year's episode without a great retrospective, looking back at the year that we had?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's great having a retrospective. It's like kind of one of those like cheating episodes from like like. I just remember I think there was one like episode of Family Ties where they got like locked in the basement with Skippy, and then they were like they were like, well, remember that time we did this, and just show the clips from the show. It was always like something like that, or maybe
every
it was
show's
different.
Got that.
Maybe it was different strokes that got locked in the basement. I can't remember, but
every show's where the lights go out, they get locked in the basement. They're hanging around the house and like, "Oh, we're so bored. Oh, remember the time we, and all that kind of stuff."
They don't do that anymore, though.
No.
It was such a cop out, but it was totally acceptable, at least like in the whatever 70s or 80s, that you could just make a whole episode of that.
Well, yeah, that was a way that you could get the clip show to actually work.
Yeah, but is that what you would do? Like if you got locked in a basement with somebody, would you be like, remember that time when? Would you start telling stories? Or be like, hey,
I'd be banging on the door, yelling, "Let me out!
Let us out of this basement!"
Or trying to figure out how to get out of the basement, especially if it were a creepy basement.
Yeah, this is true. Well, I shouldn't be yelling, "Hey, get me out of this basement," because my family might interrupt the show now. I'll be more concerned if they don't. They're just like, whatever. It's probably just part of his dumb show.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we're gonna go. So there's 15 of them. They're not necessarily in like they're not in order of like what the best ones were. They're just kind of like, this is basically what These are the ones that they had, so I just threw them all together.
So. The top 15 in no particular order.
In no particular order. So,
all right.
So here we go. Ready to kick it off.
All right.
Number 15.
I knew this was going to be a story when it happened. So I was in the dollar store yesterday. Now everybody should know they have a version of this, right? Everywhere. It's like the cheapo type of place. We have the job lot and then we have the dollar store. Of course, now everything is inflation. Everything's like $1.25, but they can't call it the $1.25 store. At least that's what somebody told me. So anyways, I was in there yesterday and this place is like Lord of the Flies. There's like no merchandising, no uniforms, no cleanliness. Like the employees are just like, it's anarchy, right? So my favorite lady, I was having a kick out of this lady because it was like this lady and she was like, she had that really raspy smoker's voice and she was like stocking a shelf and she was wearing a knee brace and she was like really loud and abrasive and she's just like, hey, what's going on? What's going on over there? So anyways, like somebody asked her for paper towels and she's like, nah, we don't have them. I don't know what's going on with paper towels, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So anyways, she's in this aisle, like an aisle. I'm walking down the next aisle. So I just hear her like ask nobody in particular, hey, anybody know what time it is? So I'm just like,
it sounds like the beginning of a David Lee Roth video or something. I'll tell you what time it
is. So, but I mean, it's like I could tell the way she was asking it was she was just putting it out into the universe. Like, she didn't
care who it wasn't like a coworker she was looking for. No, because there's usually only one person in those stores. So she was just anybody who was listening.
Does anybody that's listening within like, the radius of my voice know what time it is? And I'm thinking like with watches and cell phones and shit, like she can't just look. And so I just went like this. I just yelled over the thing. I said, it's 2:30. Right? Wondering what's going to happen. So there's a pause and she goes, 2:30. Shit. And that was it. That was it. I don't know what was happening at 2:30, but she was not happy that she missed it.
Or what was she late for? Yeah. All right. So it's worth noting. I should have before the clip. I guess I'll do it going forward. That was from episode number 178, Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, with our buddy Rye.
That was fun. I remember that story. That was funny.
So all of these episodes were brought up as being favorites from multiple people throughout Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. So
that's great. That's cool.
So yeah, great stuff. That was a fun episode and a great story. It's funny, you remember the stories when you hear them, but I could never have been able to tell you what episode that was from.
Well, I only remember because I heard Rye, so
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I should, going forward, I think I'll have to be a little more clear about this one. So the next one is from episode number 143, Highway Star. Isolated tracks. This got mentioned by multiple people as being a favorite episode for the year. So let's take a listen to that episode, or a clip from that episode.
Number 14.
You can do that, can't you? Do that's not too fast.
Yeah, but you went the other way. It goes.
Well, it depends which instrument you're doing. But then that they're doing a counterpoint there.
I think when you did it that last one, it's like, now I feel like now that I told you you're good at it, you're not doing it right anymore.
Well, that's not even a fast part though. That's just a all right, so I gotta where is this here?
You do the guitar solo.
I was trying to find the nah, never mind. I'll prove you wrong later. Okay.
No, I'm sure that it is.
I wish I'd marked up the track so that I could quickly jump to the
that one goes up and the other one goes down.
Yeah, exactly. So just some basic nonsense there.
I think that's funny though to hear some of these and know that they're people's favorites.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Just
That other
it's
people
funny.
love our the tomfoolery.
Yeah. Well, at least they like the episodes they were in. I don't know if they
Yeah.
like our tomfoolery. Well, they must like our tomfoolery because I
Yeah.
think in order to listen to this show, I mean, obviously, I think you're not going to get into the show without a passing interest in Deep Purple, but you have to kind of like what we're doing or our nonsense.
All right,
as well,
so
or you're not going to keep listening.
all right, so here's my question, because maybe I was unclear. As like, did people that you polled like these moments in the episodes, or did they say they like the episodes and you're picking the moments?
A little of both.
Oh,
So
okay.
some of them were clear about what parts they liked the best, and some of them
Okay.
just mentioned, "Oh, this is one of my favorite episodes."
All
So
right.
I'm guessing if there's an episode like that, I think people appreciated somewhat our analysis of Highway Star, which there was a little bit up there, but I think it's more like the kind of nonsense too.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm going with. So I keep forgetting too. I'm messing this all up. So these are all I named all of these segments too. So I should give you the name, not only the episode number and the name of the episode, but the name of the. So the first one we had Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, Dollar Store Alexa. Then we have the Highway Star one was Counterpoint, and now this next one up is from episode number 148, which is Rainbow Bent Out of Shape with Chris L. And this one is called A Comfy Seance.
Number 13.
If you're not one of the 12 people watching this on YouTube, it's a hoodie that looks like if in different circumstances the three of us could be in together while we host the show. It is absolutely enormous.
Well, you gotta have enough range of motion if you're just going to be, laying on the couch doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, this thing just breeds laziness. Like,
well, that was the other variation on that. Remember the Forever Lazy? There was a third version of that type of outfit.
It was like a Snuggie cousin.
Yeah, in fact, I think I have one. It might still be upstairs, but it was called the Forever Lazy.
yeah.
And of course, before we started recording, we came up with another great idea that we won't beam out to everyone because somebody will steal the idea.
Oh, we're filing the articles of incorporation right after we finish recording this, and we're all quitting our jobs, and we're gonna sell the next Snuggie variant.
Aggressive on that. But the other thing that came to mind on the talk of seance is I think if he showed up to a seance wearing a comfy, I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, that seems to be like really good seance wear. I mean, if you're going to go to a seance, you might as well be comfortable, right? And it's not exactly the most energetic, event you could go to. I think the comfy at a seance just makes perfect sense.
I could just see John motioning with an arm and knocking over like 12 candles. All right, another good one. Good old Chris L. Closing out the Rainbow Trilogy. That's a good one.
I forgot about that. I forgot that we were talking about going to a seance in a comfy.
I forgot about the comfy altogether until I actually fired up that. It was a good kind of lesson for me in opening these episodes back up and listening to at least segments of them again. Okay, so this next one comes to us from episode number 157, Remachined, a tribute to Deep Purple's Machine Head. This one is entitled Butthole on the Water.
Number 12.
I probably have preconceived notions about them that are incorrect, but here we go. Smoke on the Water by the Flaming Lips and part of the Butthole Surfers. Sounds like it's being played with telephones. John's already just watching the timer tick down.
How did you guess?
It's kind of a So maybe it's too early to begin having this conversation, but to me it feels like if you've gone ahead with mostly straight ahead rock versions, to throw this one in now is a little, if they were all weird avant-garde, or if there was one straight ahead rock version and a lot of different weird versions, then maybe this would fit in a little bit more. Not that this would really ever necessarily be my style, but John's like checked out. John's gonna go into his kitchen and make himself some food. I've never
I'm going to make a sandwich.
not since one of the Warhorse episodes have I seen that look on your face.
Yeah, well,
John's trying to assassinate himself. He's trying to end it all, folks.
this sounds like that fucking, what do you call it? That alarm, like, you know, for like, goal!
like when they score in hockey. Is this the something solo? If you watch the video podcast, you have to at least watch the video of this one. It's about, I'm gonna guess this comes around the 70-minute mark or so in the episode.
I'm just gonna start reading.
He's reading a book. Well, they said something on this about there being two wildly different versions of Smoke on the Water. I guess
I
they're
can
right
guess which
about
one
that.
this is.
Well, it's on one end of the spectrum. I think my preconceived notions about the Flaming Lips and the Butthole Surfers are proving to be correct in my mind. It's a little bit of an abrupt ending. Do I even?
Could you sort this?
What have you done
I
to the
was
sheet?
I was just checking something in the sheet. So could you sort it back to where it belongs?
I think I know what you were checking. If my guess of what you're going to rank the song is correct, I think I know what we're checking on.
Is this back to where it should be?
Yep, it is for me anyway.
Okay.
Okay, what do you, John? It's such a mystery. What are you going to rank this?
This is an unprecedented 0. I'm not.
0. Can you do 0?
I'm doing it now. This had no. You know what? No, I'm keeping it at a 0. I can't even I didn't even enjoy it. Ironically,
give it a -4.
Yeah, can I give it negative numbers? Like, I didn't get it. Like, I don't know. I can't stand shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The whole thing of it be like, I know what that is, and what that is I don't like to be involved with it. So next, like, we all came out to Montreal. And I was like, all right, you're trying to be a fucking weirdo. Shut up. Get out of here.
With like the 20s style effect on the voice, like he's speaking one of those old timey radio microphones, selling dish soap.
Yeah, like, let's be weird. Let's come in here with a Casio keyboard and hit a water pipe and let's be all spooky and shit. It's like, out of here.
All right. Sorry you had to live through that again. Although that was an edited down version.
Yeah.
Some of these I've kind of spliced a few clips together to represent the episode. That was a few clips within our very long discussion about that particular song.
Well, what I liked was that you knew. I'm like, I'm just sorting the sheet. You're like, I know why you're sorting the sheet, because you're looking to see if anybody gave anybody 0s before, because that's what I was doing.
Or at least what the lowest score ever was. But
well, that sucked so bad.
Yeah, it's not good. I gotta say, one thing I don't think we touched on in that episode, which I was really picking up on in this listen, was the kind of the Gregorian chant going on. Like, oh,
Yeah, I don't remember that.
no, I didn't remember it. I think it was so focused on the on what sounded like a stylophone. But I
Right.
still got my stylophone over here. Oh, I'm a little rusty, but maybe for old time's sake, I could just give it another whirl. Let's see here. Power, is the power on? Oh, here we go. Where is it? Yeah.
Actually, isn't that
the same problem I had last time with this chord? It's, see how long the chord is? It's like when you get to the end of the little keyboard, it. Yeah, whatever.
isn't that how Ritchie played it like one night in Tokyo?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like the first one you did it?
He did something weird. He like funkified it or something, but anyway. But that was a fun episode. I didn't even that part of the episode was, well, I mean, that part was just fun for your reaction. I don't know if it was fun for you, but it was fun for the listener, and it was fun for me. Maybe not so fun for you.
As long as I'm here providing entertainment, that's all that matters.
That's what we're an entertainment podcast. So next up, we've got episode. I grouped them together. Episodes number 175 and 76 are 2 episodes on the Battle Rages On, and this episode is titled "I Don't Care If You're Purple."
Number 11.
But yeah, there's a lot of people like, maybe Blackmore will go back in the band. Sure.
That didn't even like that's where we are at this point. Is like that didn't even cross my mind. Like
Not
I'm
even
just
for a
like,
second. I think anybody that's paying attention, that's not going to cross their mind. Like you clearly, they just know that he left in '93. They haven't listened to anything since, and they're just like, oh, Blackmore will go back. Oh yeah, that'll work. Sure.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he's gonna hang up his friggin' loot and like come back to Deep Purple. Here, let me take off this felt pixie cap and I'll be right there. Those boots. Like whatever those things are.
One of the best. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Look at like his orthopedic his orthopedic medieval boots.
Orthopedic.
Man, those things look uncomfortable. Oof.
Oh yeah, they look like they've got no. I'm sure the boots they're based on have very little arch support.
Breathability,
Yeah, you're just sweating and it's like a swamp in there, a swamp of plantar fasciitis.
I'm sure Richie's gonna hang up his Robin Hood hat and run back to Deep Purple.
3-cornered hat. He's gonna return. Well, it's funny though, when the last time he left Deep Purple, or he immediately reformed Rainbow and he brought the pilgrim hat back. It was sort of like a variation on the pilgrim hat. It'd be great if he just came back to Deep Purple and just put the hat back on. And but anyway, it's not happening, folks. Everybody knows that. But it's just funny to talk about it. But anyway, here we are. The battle ranges on. Before we kind of get into the lead up to this album, this is a 2-parter, so we're going to talk about.
Well, not as classic as the Kiss "Lick It Up." That's okay.
No, and I think that's it's a hard one to beat. I look it up. I've heard it on the radio a million times.
I mean, I feel because Ian Gillan said it, like I would believe that he's like, oh, Kiss has a song called "Lick It Up." He's the only person I would believe would be so oblivious that he wouldn't even know.
So many people are just so full of crap. You're like, yeah,
anybody
right,
else, I would be like, like if Joe Lynn Turner said, I'd be like, oh, you're full of shit. There's a Kiss song called "Lick It Up." But for some reason, I could believe that Gillan is like so in his own world. He's like, oh, I didn't know Kiss wrote a song called that.
Yeah, I don't think he has much reason to make that up. But
that'd be funny if they had a song on this called "Rock and Roll All Night." Kiss wrote a song called "Rock and Roll All Night." Like that's way more specific.
That's so strange.
Oh, geez, I hear that it's different from ours. Like, oh, there he goes with his wacky lyrics.
Yep.
So I mean that you could forgive that,
Yeah, almost like straight, gay, black or white. That was like a really early '90s things, 90s thing. Like people would be on Oprah or whatever. I don't care if you're brown, white, black, purple, or yellow. We're all people, yay! And everyone like it was a applause line, So I was like very of the times. This would have been like right. Wasn't this the year that the Black and White came out by Michael Jackson. Wasn't that it was right around this time, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I was like, because this is 93, Black and White, Michael Jackson. Let's see. Of course, it's not going to tell me. 91. Okay, so it came out a couple years earlier. But yeah, it was very, that was the thing. And hey, it's a good message. It's, nothing wrong with the message, but it was just funny. It almost became a parody of itself because people would say that. I don't care. And it was always, people would always throw in purple. I don't care if you're purple. It's like, well, that's good. Nobody's purple, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, that I never understood when people are like trying to talk about how tolerant they are. They're like, I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, purple, blue, green. It's who the hell is blue and green?
Blue Man Group, and that woman
aliens,
from Star Trek. I don't know.
Green, like, but when they start using like colors of the spectrum that like are not.
I would care if somebody was purple. I feel like you should call an ambulance or something. I don't think they're not breathing and they're purple. I don't care.
I care if you're blue or purple.
Don't treat them any differently. They're purple. No, call an ambulance.
Do the Heimlich, something. Oh.
Please care if I'm purple.
Especially if you're deep purple.
No, this is true. Yeah, that's right. That he would care if you're purple. So before we get into the ratings, this song supposedly came from the song "Stroke of Midnight," which I think Gillan Turner did on like one of his albums. It is personal.
Actually, it's always personal.
It is always personal. It's our personal experience with Deep Purple.
Well, this probably won't surprise you. So I was talking to my brother, and I was like, before he left, and I said,
surprise me.
No, not that part. What he said. We were talking about that phrase, like, I forgive, but I never forget. And I'm like, for me, it's the opposite. I forget, but then when I remember, I never forgive.
Yeah, it's true.
But then he looked at me and he goes, you don't do either one. He goes, you don't forgive or forget.
It's true.
So I'm like, all right, so it's.
I think this is the first one where I'm thinking probably would have been better suited for JLT. I don't know what
it's
did on this
pretty
one,
obvious.
But yeah.
It's the most obvious.
But if they had just tracked Gillan differently and just left normal Gillan and not weird wood elf Gillan or whatever that voice is, he sounds like the elves in Elf. They have that they have that kind of like little. You know what I mean? Like that little effect on their voice, and that's just kind of what it reminds me of.
We live in the trees.
Yeah, exactly.
we are the people of the elves.
Oh, solitaire. It's just.
Leave me back to making my cookies. Or posing for an album cover.
Posing for the elf. Yeah, it sounds like what Ronnie looks like on the cover of the Elf album.
Yeah.
Oh no, you found my hideout in the trees.
Freaks. From the there was a Simpsons episode where Homer stumbles onto the secret land of the jockeys.
Like the horse jockeys?
Yeah. Because the joke, of course, is they're all small. So he stumbles into it and they're just like, welcome to the land of the jockeys. And they're all talking like that. They're just like.
Well, he sounds like, another ref, he sounds like.
We're freaks.
He sounds like the aliens in the Stone Mates says, we do. That's the same. It's the same effect, isn't it?
Halloween.
It's just like. A word for that, like Blackmore intro to a solo. It's like the. It's like it's like sounds like orchestrated falling down the stairs. It's like his classic thing, and I don't mean that at all in a negative way, of course. But it's
true. Yeah.
It's like his classic little go-to. It's so awesome. It's his version of Tommy Bolin's.
It's not as easy though
No,
to emulate.
it's a lot. Yeah, I think I'd have I think I could do the Tommy Bolin one a little better than the Ritchie. Oh man, a lot from that episode.
Yeah, well, that was a pretty spirited discussion.
That episode was a gold mine.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any other clips quite that extensive.
We're talking about elves and guitars falling down the stairs.
This is the stuff I always forget. Like if I don't do the what I should do is make notes when we record, because like sometimes like when I do the album art, like I'll throw in like little things that we mentioned during the show, but then if I wait like 3 weeks later and I do the album art, it's just like I don't remember what we talked about, so I just put a picture of us. But it seems like in that one there was a lot of material we went over that we could have put. Like I could have tinted us purple. I could have put in the stone cutters. I could have done a lot of things.
Yeah, see, get on that.
Well, anyway, we got to go to our wonderful our next bit here, which is, where is it here? There it is. This one comes from episode number 153. And this one is called this one is from 153, White Snake, Come and Get It. And the title of the track is Prehistoric Sex.
Number 10.
Prowling the street at midnight.
Finding some prehistoric woman that he can seduce.
Like he's like, and I got in my time machine. He's like, it's like
That's
he's
the
a
reason
time
he would
traveling
invent a time
sex
machine.
song. So he can go back and get prehistoric sex.
I always think of that Brian Regan bit where he's talking about what a great line about saying all these songs are about his wife. Like, what a lie.
It really is.
Would I lie to you? I refer you back to that song. You get in your pants.
He's already sealed the deal.
I forgot.
And then, I mean, come on, you gotta give him that to get in your pants. I mean, that's just so cheeky.
Yeah,
I love it.
And it completes the sentence that doesn't need to be completed. Like we all know. We're like, what's he lying to her about? I don't understand.
Just in case you didn't know, I'm gonna tell you.
What is the reason behind the lies? I must know. All right, that was a good one.
Any discussion with Coverdale is a gold mine. About Coverdale. We haven't actually talked with him, but
No. Sadly, maybe one day, maybe when he officially retires, he'll come on the show. He could be
I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
He'd be the third member of the show.
Either that,
He'll be in every episode. Imagine
darling, could I join as your guest host? Either that, or he'd be like really pissed at us and be like, "Hey, I don't want you talking about me like that." Be like, "Oh shit."
Well, I know from the time we called him Coverdale. He's like, Coverdale.
That's still one of my favorites. When you show me that tweet, he's like, you called him Coverdale. He's like, Coverdale. Well, that's
I was like,
name,
Mr.
isn't it?
Coverdale.
Yeah, Mr. Sir Coverdale, sir.
Sorry about that. Didn't know you were listening.
Yikes.
Not it's funny, of all the things we've talked about with Coverdale, that's the thing that he like perked up. Coverdale.
It's like this. Well, it's your name, so I mean,
Maybe a little familiar for us, given that we don't actually know him or have never actually spoken to him.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, so the final one, the final part of this section before we get into thanking our patrons, is from episodes number 150, 151. This is our Slaves and Masters episodes, and this clip is called Legs Over Easy. So take it away, Zaz.
Number 9.
John Lord's still going.
Oh yeah, baby.
I love that he's still soloing. It's so good.
He's making up for lost time.
Yeah, he's like, you sons of bitches haven't given me any solos in the last few albums. I'm just gonna solo over the rest of the song. I don't care what you say.
This is for the last 2 albums. This is for White Snake. This is for me, man. I'm just gonna keep playing until you tear my hands off the keyboard.
They dragged him out of the studio.
You picture him, he's like this.
He's just going like that. You see the tape just spinning in the machine. It's been like the tape has run out like an hours ago. The guy's just like pushing a broom through the studio. He's like, "Hey, when you leave, can you turn the lights off?"
he's still solo.
You wonder if you wonder.
So you can kind of have a wring that neck, lazy connection there.
I spilled my beer all over the studio
Jesus.
desk, so I'm cleaning it up with an old pair of socks I had over here. The show must go on.
Don't mind everybody. Don't mind Nate, everybody.
Show must go on. Yeah, it definitely has that bebopping sort of groove and bass line that that Lazy has.
Yeah, there's definitely like, you know. He did not just say eggs over easy, did he?
Judging, you know, I missed it. I'm reading something right now. I might have.
I wasn't even listening for it. Like,
I mean, it sounds very much like the previous ad-libs he's had. I find it very easy to believe that he would have said that.
I mean, I don't know. I was just thinking, like, you know, when is he going to start throwing in, like, you know, the bacon and eggs, you know, lyrics, and then all of a sudden I just thought I heard him go, eggs over easy.
You know what? I think this is unprecedented, but I think we got to play back the last part of that song to double check. Here we go. I think he might have said legs over easy, which is maybe worse.
I think we need to fact check that one online.
I think it might be legs over easy. Because obviously, much like the Up for Breakfast by Van Halen, this is a, you know, breakfast in bed. I mean, there's nothing subtle about any of this. You know, fire in the basement. This is all very thin innuendo. Like legs over easy. I'm just doing a search for that. Legs over easy. Urban Dictionary. Get out of here. Like, sometimes I think they're making this stuff up. Like, I've never heard the term legs over easy before. Let's see. Legs over easy, Deep Purple. Let's see what comes up here.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm looking at the Urban Dictionary one.
I mean, it's kind of what you would expect. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, either way, he said eggs over easy or legs over easy. I think he said legs over easy.
All right, well, the Urban Dictionary definition, don't worry, it's not too bad. When a girl is, quote, easy to get, her legs are easily put over the guy in terms of sex.
Oh, thanks. I wasn't
And
sure.
then, of course,
I was like, what are they talking about? Oh, I get it.
And then, of course, my favorite, the real world example. Hey, are your legs over easy, or are you going to make him wait this time?
Jeez. Oh, it's like girlfriends talking?
Yeah.
Are your legs over easy? Or are you going to make him wait? I don't know. He might be the one. My legs might be over easy. Come on. This is not.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, this is such a bunch of crap. Like, this is not like a real thing that anyone has ever said.
Oh, yeah, what a couple of dopes. We're sitting here laughing at ourselves.
It's good. It's good entertainment.
It is, though. It
When
is.
you're removed from it and you don't remember saying any of it, it's kind of like, oh, it's pretty funny. But that was good. That was a good clip.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, that was good. But hey, speaking of good, you know what else is good?
What?
John was already
Huh?
checking out.
Huh?
Our patrons, that's what.
Oh yeah.
Coming
Oh
in
yeah,
at
them.
at the $7.77 Keep It Warm Rat tier, we have Michael Vader and Richard Fusey. At the $6.99 new nice price tier, Fielding Fowler. At the episode $6.66 tier, Steve Coldwell, Arthur Smith, Anton Glaving, and Will Bermuda Schwartz. At the $6.65 Almost Evil tier, Mr. Kenny Wymore. At the $5.99 the nice price tier, Robert Smith, Peter from Illinois, Michael Bagford, and Carl Hellberg. And at the $5 moneylender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Alman, Alexi the Perfect Stranger Slepikoff, James North, Mark Hodgetts, Will Porter, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, Percival Frequency, and Scott Zerns. Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. We really, really appreciate it. Yeah. So, breaking news. I did just get back from, I just did hear back from Simon Ford on one of the things. So we're going to be calling the $3, tier, the aromatic feed, the 3-pound the aromatic feed tier. So I think we're
Okay.
also going to need to know what that means, but maybe we'll hear back more coming. So I'm going to type that in right now. The aromatic feed tier. So we'll find out more about what that means, and maybe get a welcome message from Mr. Ford before we move on. So
Yes,
thank
yes,
you.
yes.
Thank you, Simon. More to come on that. Okay. Well, here we are into the back half of it. I think the longer clips were kind of pushed towards the beginning part, so the rest of them are a little shorter.
Yeah. You really front loaded this episode.
I front loaded it with all the good stuff. Okay, so we're ready to go into the next one.
Yeah, more us. More Nate and John's greatest hits.
More us. I can't get enough of it. All right, this next one comes from episode number 160. This was, of course, the Mother's Day special. And this one is entitled Whistle Voice. So take it away, Zaz.
Number 8.
For so many years, I figured you would appreciate that because there were some very like soft parts and some very impressive parts vocally that you would like, as well as some of the music. So
yeah, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to what's his name, Dylan?
no, Ian Gillan, close.
Oh, Ian Dylan. Okay, okay. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen.
John, do you want to play just the album version, or do you want to play a live?
I bet he has a whistle voice too.
What's that?
Well, it's a real high pitch in your head voice.
Yeah, here he goes.
Yep, there it is. That's it.
Nate was a really good kid, and he and his friends were always a pleasure to have around or chat with. But when Nate finally moved out and went to live in an apartment with his friends, it took his father and I like 3 days to get all the tape off his walls, because he had taped about 1,000 million things to his ceiling, his walls, the doors, everywhere, and used any kind of tape that was available at the time, electrical tape, all kinds of like masking tape. It was everywhere. So we had a lot of use of that glue gun to get that stuff off the walls.
Yeah, it was very indelicately done. It wasn't like double-sided poster removable tape. It was that clear packing tape was my primary method.
Oh man.
I forgot about my mom. She sounds so funny. She's like, "What's his name? Dylan? No, Ian Gillan. All right, Ian Dillon."
So many people whistle voice has become such a thing in the last like 6 months of the show that people that constantly reference have the whistle voice in there. But people enjoyed our Mother's Day and Father's Day episodes, so
Mm-hmm.
there you go. But there's
As did we.
as did we, of course. But that's not the only thing that they enjoyed. You know what else they enjoyed? They also enjoyed having Rich on the show, particularly when we went over our trip to Florida. So this is from episode number 149, entitled Deep Purple Live in Florida 2022, and the title for this clip is "Don't Forget Your Underwear." Take it away, Zaz.
Number 7.
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
have to rent a car though, because you know why? Mom and Dad drove me down from
Which
Disney.
might have been the highlight for me.
Yeah.
Having you dropped off.
I got dropped off at the.
Assuring your parents they would take good care of you.
Yep.
Seeing Nate arrive riding in the back seat.
I did. Yeah, with a lot of stuff in the car, and I wanted to lighten my load before I got there, so I went through my luggage and I was like, I'm only gonna be there for a few more days, so I like separated all of my clothes into halves, and I put half of them in my parents' car because they were like summer clothes, so I'm not gonna need them. My parents will be back probably in April, so I separated it all out. Got there. We had a few drinks at the Irish pub. We got back to the place, and then I realized I had separated out my underwear into two halves, but I didn't put either half of my bag. So now I had one pair of underwear to get me through 4 days. So later on, we had to make a trip to Kohl's, and I bought 5 pairs of underwear.
The highlight of the trip.
Yeah.
What did you crazy guys do? We went underwear shopping for Nate.
We did. We went underwear shopping. Well, you guys waited in the car, and I went underwear shopping.
Yeah, we weren't going in.
That would have seemed odd. Besides, we probably couldn't have agreed anyway.
No.
No, you don't want those
I'm going
ones.
into the changing room, trying on all kinds of shapes and colors. But
we got there that first night, and we got to the Airbnb. Very
thing
nice.
I didn't notice until I
Big
listened back
house,
to my
3
recording, because I
rooms.
recorded both of the shows, was when
You did? You what? You bootleg? What?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Hey, they saw me bring it in. Nobody said anything.
Security didn't tackle you to the ground and drag you out?
It's not like I was standing next to my seat, Rich. I was just recording the show.
No. Oh, that's right. It was only if you stood up.
You were the
Had you
real
stood up-
miscreant.
Had you stood up and recorded the show, it would have been a real problem.
Yeah, exactly. They'd be like, "Sit down." I'm like, I'm just recording this so I could sell it and mass produce it. Sit down.
Especially that old school marm that I had to go back and forth with. She tells me this now, just so everybody knows, we're in the front row of the loge, so just off the floor. We're in the front row, but where John and I were, there was nobody sitting behind us. Like our seats extended past everybody. There's nobody behind us. So I stood up as soon as the show started getting started. And I get a tap on the shoulder and told to sit down. And I'm like, sit down now or for the whole show? And she looked at me and said, "We'll see." And I'm like, that's ridiculous. So, of course, as soon as I said that's ridiculous, I had flashes of being on the airplane and saying, you don't wear your mask or something. And all of a sudden now here come the regular security guys who are about 80, 87, and 70. The young guy they sent over at 74. And I told John later, like, listen, I'm generally like a play by the rules kind of guy. I don't, I get it. Like everyone's got a job to do. You need me to sit down, I'll sit down. But I just had visions of tossing those guys over one by one and making a stack of them on the other side. I think like just to prove a point of like, if you're going to have security, you have to have people that can be security. Like,
Yes. Yeah. What are they going to do if you cause a real stink?
Right. Yeah, I mean,
so
they're gonna all break a hip getting over there to like tell you to get out.
So the one guy tells me like, and he was being not friendly about it. Like, you got to sit down. That's it. Everybody's got to sit down. People behind you are complaining, which clearly they weren't.
There was nobody
behind us. But like, I think his point was like, if you stand up, then everybody's
The
going to stand
craziest
up.
thing of the night happened. I don't know, John. Do you want to? Keep in mind we've met Ian Paice. We met everybody. Totally surreal experience so far, but then it just gets multiplied by 10 when what did you say, John?
So we're all standing around talking, and I just happened to look over to my right, whatever, and I said to myself, "Oh, that guy looks just like O.J. Simpson," and then I kind of looked again. And I was like, I think it might be. And so then I said to everybody else, hey, I think that guy looks like O.J. Simpson. And everybody looked over there. It is O.J. Simpson. And
Yeah,
it was. And then
It was, and here
and he was like,
here's the picture.
Well, he was on the same level as us. And then he went walking away, and he had a little entourage around him. And as soon as he realized it, the Gardot yelled, "The juice!" And then he like ran after
he
him
sprinted.
and took this picture. Which the juice was juiced. He was he had a little too much.
I don't think so. I think he was just limping from whatever injuries over the years or something. I mean, maybe
I think he was
who knows?
limping from injuries, meaning cocktails. That's what I think.
He had too much juice. Oh.
I forgot about that when Peter yelled at the juice, and then he sprinted after him.
The adventures we got up to in Florida was great.
Oh.
I had forgot. I remembered Rich complaining about security, but I forgot about the way he talked about throwing them over the
Stacking them up.
And if you could have the visual of what these old ladies and men looked like, it would be even funnier for you, because they were quite elderly.
Well, yeah, I mean, security there, they looked like they worked at the fucking library.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like when we used to take the kids to like the children's museum around here, the volunteers, with the
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Their 70s and early 80s.
I mean, yeah, they'd be able to like swat a fly. That's about it.
Maybe, security at the children's museum, maybe, but not at a rock concert. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, that's like just thinking about that trip. It seems like it was just the other day, but at the same time, it feels like it was so long ago. Like it was almost a year ago at this point. I can't believe it.
I know, right? It's crazy. It was so much fun. I'm hoping, maybe we can, Deep Purple's going to be coming around more of the Northeast around the same time. I'm hoping that I can get out there to. Are you going for sure? Do you know yet if you're going or?
Rich told me in no uncertain terms that I'm going.
So yeah, he's close enough that he can come and abduct you. He's not
pretty
gonna
much
drive out here to abduct me, but
he's like, we were having that text chain, and then on the side he goes, "Just so you know, you're going."
I
that's
obviously I would love to go to all the shows. We were even throwing around. They're playing in Japan, and it would be like that would be so much fun. But I was texting. I can't remember if it was just me and Rich or it was all three of us. And
I think it was all three.
I was texting about Japan, and I was like, man, if I went to Japan without Jen, and she's never been before, she would love to go. She'd be so pissed. But I was like, New Jersey, I can get away with that. She's gonna be like, have fun. I will watch the kids, and I won't be in New Jersey, so I win.
Yeah.
But yeah, but of course, I wouldn't want to go to Japan for 3 days either. I would want to no offense to Deep Purple, but there's a lot of other things I'd like to see in Japan. It would be amazing.
Well, geez,
but,
I mean,
but yeah, I can't just on a whim plan a vacation to Japan in 2 months. I would have to. It would have to be more well thought out. But anyway, next up. Did I do that one? Oh, no, we didn't. So the next one comes from episode number 156, Deep Purple on the Wings of a Russian Foxbat. So this was one of our live streams, and if you're a patron, you can join us live on the live streams when we record, and you'll hear us talking to our patrons in this one in the clip. And this one is called Peep Derple on My Mind. Take it away, Zaz.
Number 6.
A little bit better.
Yeah, I agree.
I never really liked during this time how Coverdale was introducing the older songs this was about a song written in Switzerland. It's got Frank Zappa and the Mothers. It's I don't know, it just sounded kind of cheesy.
He's reading off of, it's kind of like the beginning. Okay, here's the agenda for today.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Burn, then we're gonna do a song, 2 songs from the new album. Then we're gonna have a 15-minute break. We're gonna break for lunch at 12 o'clock. Then we're gonna come back. We're gonna get into some breakout groups.
But I mean, it's it's we're gonna do some breakout groups.
We're gonna do some exercises.
But it almost sounds like Rod Evans and the new Deep Purple. This is from our album Machine Head. What? You weren't on that.
Rich is not digging the breakdown. I got bad news for you. What's going to happen later, Rich? Spoiler alert. This was nothing. That's why we're gonna thank the patrons later. That only takes about a minute. Lord, do you guys want to do Highway Star this way? They'd probably be like, oh, but they have to, you know.
Yeah. That line gets me every time.
Yeah, Gillan's vocals were too. The lyrics are too subtle. That's a really.
It's just like, tires is tits, right?
It's like, oh wait, this song isn't about a car at all. I mean, the second verse.
Everybody's hating on this song. Oh.
David Coverdale is backstage writing lyrics for North Winds while this is going on.
Yeah. The Gardot is multitasking.
Yeah, some people are joining us on an important work call.
Wow.
Davey in the chat says Coverdale's on the phone with Moody and Marsden. He's like, I only see myself having another couple of weeks with this band.
Look at the chat. Rod Evans' new band, Heap Durple.
It'd be great if Rod was just like silently playing like some nightclub shows out in California, like somewhere, but under a different name, like nobody even realized who it was. Not doing any Deep Purple material or anything. He's been doing it for 20 years at like these small little intimate clubs.
You never know.
Happy and bald headed, that's all we know. Here you go, Rich. This is for you.
We know it.
Rich just fell asleep. He said he fell asleep and asked if he missed Georgia on my mind. You're lucky, Rich. You lucked out. You did. All right, back to the present. That was a fun episode. That was a fun live stream.
Yeah, live streams are always a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. Get to hear from everybody else, and everyone's got either snide comments to make or cool observations and things we didn't know, or both, and that's what makes it so entertaining.
No, I like how we've gotten into the routine of when we do a live album or something like that we include everybody in on that. That's become a really fun kind of thing that we started.
Yeah, it breaks up the monotony of just doing. We learned very early on that we didn't want to just do album after album after album after album because it's a little formulaic and you get some burnout. So doing different subjects is always fun.
Well, I think it's fun too because if I had there are so many podcasts out there, but I would say that none of the ones that I listen to, like if any of them were like, hey, we're doing a live stream, like even if they weren't recording it for a show later, it would be fun to be like, oh, I'm around now, or I'll be around in like that time. Like I want to jump in and just be part of the chat or something. So that's always a good time.
Yeah, and I always want to, but like it's very like we basically all the time that I have that's free is used for this show. So it's really hard. Like I know and the podcast Will Rock invited us on for a live episode, and I'm like, I really want to make it work. I just don't know if I can. Because we're recording ahead and all that sort of stuff. So it's like whenever I have a free night, it goes to this, and I don't have a ton of free nights. So, but yeah, it would be it'd be great to participate in more of those. They just don't generally, and a lot of other people do things on the weekends, and we're tied up on the weekends. So, anyway, it's cool, and it's not everyone can join everyone. We've tried to do some daytime ones for the UK and European folks. We've done some nighttime ones for the North American folks. try to do a little of both, because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun and depending on if you do a morning or afternoon or an evening, you get a different group of patrons that join. So it's always fun to hear from a different crowd. Anyway, our next clip comes from episode number 164, Trying to Burn the Sun. And this one is called Bustin' for the Very First Time. Take it away, Zaz.
Number 5.
To all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. We couldn't do it without you. All right, so you know what time it is now? We're just busting it down the spreadsheet, and he's fumbling with the tabs. She sorted it the wrong way. Now he can't tell what is bad. All right. Jingle work has been done.
I had a feeling that you were going to have that ready.
We talked about it after the last show. John wrote the lyrics, well, most of them. It was John's idea.
Was it, did we record it, or were we just saying it after the show?
We were just after the show, we were talking
naturally?
I think it was after the show. Maybe we did it on the show. I don't know. Our listeners will listen and tell us. But
I don't know. I had this sneaking suspicion that you had worked on it and it was going to be ready for this show. I don't know why, but
I had
I'm
like
so
25,
glad that you
30.
did.
I had like 25 or 30 minutes free the other night, and I was like, I want to see if I can throw something together.
And that's just about as great as I thought it would be.
I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's my own spreadsheet fumbling music. Thank you.
That was a pleasure.
Hearing my reaction for the first time to my spreadsheet theme music.
That was great. So I don't know if I talked about this on the show, but anytime I put anything on Spotify that's Deep Purple, you know, when you play like a full album and then you reach the end of the album, then Spotify's like, if you like that, then you'll probably like this.
Yeah.
It always, any Deep Purple album I play, doesn't matter, in rock, infinite, any era, every single time the album ends and it goes to Bustin' Out for Rosie. Every single time.
That's weird.
But every time it happens, I'm like, I can't not listen to it. It's so good. It's got such a good groove to it.
Yeah.
I got to redo the vocals for that, because since it comes up all the time, I hear it. The way he does it. He's a bustin' out for Rosie. And he goes like, what's the line after that? I can't think of I'm just thinking about the spreadsheet song now. But it's cause she told me I'm her boy. Like he says it in this like really boy. So I was like, I gotta redo it and do like the fumbling with the tabs. Like just kind of drop it like the way he does.
If you want to get that into it, then
look for that in the new year, folks. That's what you have to look forward to.
The updated spreadsheet music.
Updated spreadsheet music. Oh boy. Too much fun. All right, only got a few clips left here as we close out this episode. It's funny, one of the shows I listen to does like an end of year. They usually do like a 4-parter, and they're like 2 hours each of like clips from the year, and they're usually like 20-minute clips. So I kind of like stole the idea from them with the kind of countdown sort of thing.
Yeah.
Except they didn't have as many voiceover numbers, so they would just do like, instead of saying number 11, they'd be like number 1, which is like really funny because they must have only recorded 10. They just like had more than 10, so they just like, so they go up to 10 and then they go like number 1, 4. You gotta love it. And this is like a high end podcast too, with like millions of subscribers, so
yeah,
we're already more updated than them. Okay, so the next one comes from, where the heck is it? Is this like a, oh, I see. This one comes from episode number 186. 7. This is entitled that's our episode Deep Purple live in Ostrava 1991, live with JT, live Mark V.
Mm-hmm.
And the episode and the clip is called "My Czechoslovakian Isn't So Good." So take it away, Zaz.
Number 4.
Do the Jesus Christ Superstar part. Okay, good. Because that, yes, you're right. That would have angered me.
He busts into When Trumpets Blow. It's like, what are you doing, JLT?
My Czechoslovakian is not so good. So I have to speak this one in English, but do you guys ever have sex?
What the fuck? What the hell kind of question is that?
Young sex.
The hell is he?
Shh. Don't say the name of the name. This one's called Fire in the
They're like, no, what's that?
I mean, that would have been a weird question if they were playing like a fucking preschool or something, but
That would have been weird and inappropriate.
yeah, that would have, this was just weird. Anybody ever have sex? One guy in the back. No.
I hope to someday.
Oh, I'm an anime geek.
But he said especially young sex? Like, what does that mean?
JLT, what a creep.
But just like that's not their. That's just so funny because it's not who they are. He's just like, anybody here have sex? Like, what? Like, I think that it's, you know what? I was thinking about it. Like, if he was like, hey, anybody here like sex? That would even be just as stupid.
anyone ever have it? Yeah, it wasn't so good.
Yeah, I had it once. It was awkward.
It was over in 20 seconds.
Hey, they call me the 2-pump chump. You know what I'm saying?
Forget about it.
Forget about it. No, really, forget about it. Okay?
Please forget about it.
Please forget
Take
about
out
it. Don't tell
take out
anybody.
The Men in Black thing. Zap ya. Oh man. All right, so only a few left. This one was another episode that got a lot of comments as being a highlight of the year, and it was the 3-year interview episode number 158, which is great because you have episodes like that which are just very self-referential, and you wonder, like, is this a mistake? Should we just be sticking to subject matter? But people seem to really enjoy it. And now here's like the ultimate meta episode. We're like doing an episode about our episodes and featuring an episode about our episodes in it. Oh my god, blow your mind. It's like that movie Inception, right?
Yeah.
But hey, people, like I was saying earlier, you get into the show because you like Deep Purple, but you're not going to keep listening if you don't like our stupid antics. So anyway, here we go. This one is episode number 158, the 3-year interview, and this clip is called John Nightclub Matola. And with that, I'll hand it off to Zaz.
Number 3.
That's interesting. And for a lot of our musician friends that are familiar with that style of music, about 9 out of every 10 songs has some kind of synthesizer sidechain compressed to take the attack off and give a really bizarre sound. I wouldn't have thought of you as a club guy. That is interesting.
You didn't see the nightclub Matola face with the gelled back hair and the puka shell necklace.
John Nightclub Matola. Yeah, the
button-down shirt up, 3 buttons down. The pictures are out there, folks.
Oh, actually, you're not too far off. The early 2000s, I had the spiky hair with the tips.
Wow.
Stood out in the lines, like, with my friends and like, tank tops and shit in like the middle of winter, like, let us in. Yeah, I had the puka shells, like it was awful.
Even if I didn't ask Nate, I think that Fielding has a great answer to his question right there. How about you, Nate?
Goody.
Nightclub Matola.
I'm glad people enjoyed that episode. We had like when we solicited questions, we had so many questions. I don't think we even got to like 10% of them in that whole. We could have done like a 10-part series, but that would have been pushing it. But it was a lot of fun. Always fun having Scott on the show, and he's a great interviewer. It was a fun episode to do. Okay. Our penultimate clip is coming in at number 2 here, and Zaz will count us off in a second here. This one is from episode number 188, so very recent episode. This is Slide It In, the UK release episode.
Wow.
And very recent. And this one is called Subtlety.
Number 2.
He had a really great track record for reinvigorating bands who are all washed up. So he had gotten Aerosmith back together, and he hooked them up with Diane Warren to write songs with. He had done things with Cher to get her career back on track. So White Snail. White Snail. So it's a lesser known band. What he basically said, this guy is a guy who has a track record with.
It's a little more subtle than, say, Love Hunter.
What isn't?
Or even what was the other one? Come and Get It, where the mouth looks like a hoo-ha. Yeah, this one like classes it up. So you got this broad here with like some with some diamonds and no, but seriously, you have this. I don't know. I like it. It's very. It gives a very kind of like. How are they not cracking the hell up? Spit it out, spit it out.
If you don't like it, I think it's.
How did they not stop tape like 50 times, like laughing their asses off?
Who knows what was left on the cutting room floor? It's another one like Slide It In. Like I can't hear it and not laugh.
I don't know. This one I think is funnier because Slide It In is kind of subtle. Spit It Out is just
kinda. I don't know if you even know if it's kind of subtle.
Well,
I will
next
agree
to
with
this.
you. This is less subtle, but neither can be described as subtle.
What?
He's just so horny on this album. I can't get over it.
He's just.
I mean, he always is, but on this album, it's just. I mean, hence the title.
I just saw you grinning.
Mirror. White Snake Slide It In. Blurg. So it doesn't sound like a good, promising start to this review. You know me, I'm a reasonable man. The infantile subject matter. Old men got big willies. And then there's a plus after it. I don't know. Sometimes they use that as the stars. I don't know if that's a 1 star or if that's just signaling that it's the end of the thing.
I'm just wondering what this blurg at the beginning is. Did he take that from like a Garfield cartoon? Blurg, I thought this was lasagna, but instead it was spinach.
Blurg, I hate Mondays.
That was a recent classic. That might be the episode of the year.
That was a fun episode. I'm surprised you didn't include the clip where you talked about, geez, somebody shoot him with a bear tranquilizer. Jesus.
Oh yeah, I should have. Quite a few people actually commented on the bear tranquilizer.
Yeah, that was. That's the only thing that could calm him down.
Like we always say, we record these episodes sometimes shortly before, but sometimes a ways out. So people, all of a sudden, I wake up on Monday morning and start looking at my messages of people in Europe and be like, "Aha, bear tranquilizer." I'm like, "What?" Like, I have no idea what
blurg. What? What is blurg?
Oh well. There's only one clip left, and you've probably surmised what it is. And this was. I said they weren't in any particular order, but this one is definitely the number 1 requested clip, and it is, of course, episode number 165, the Father's Day special.
Yes.
So yeah, obviously, we're gonna have to listen to a more brief comment from my dad, but the ending bit of your dad reading the reading the patrons kind of stole the show. So this is episode number 165, the Father's Day special, and this is entitled Blackmore Tights.
Number 1.
I took it over as a den. I took it over as a den 22 minutes after he left.
That's not far off.
as the truck was driving off, I was moving up here. So
it was legitimately within a week easily. I was like, well, I hope things work out and I'm not coming back home.
Too bad. Too bad.
Well, much different than I remember it.
A lot less on the walls.
Oh God, it took me 3 months just to get all the tape off the walls. And 2 bottles of goop. But
you need your phone because I have to thank sponsors of
you
something. I don't know. They got me doing
paused
something.
gun smoke.
They got me doing something.
I don't know. They're gonna text you something. Then I got to read some names because
Johnny.
They said they were gonna pay me $20. So.
It's Rock Foundation.
This is gonna be a big thing to
maybe.
All right. What do you want? The three. Thanks to our foundation level patrons.
There we go.
You know, I got a sore throat. You want me to read all this stuff?
Yes, everything that's in that text you can read.
The $3.33 halfway to the evil tier. Raf Calf. $3 nobodies. The perfect tier. Peter Godow. Ian Desrosius, Mark Roback, Duncan Fife, no, Duncan Leask, sorry, yep. Duncan. Stuart McCord, Flight of the Rat Bat, Blue Light,
yep.
Boyfriend, Fledge Blue, Runa Simonson. JJ
sorry, we play that sound clip after all of our Norwegian patrons. So there's only one more. You can go back to the one.
Wait a minute.
You can go back to
Runyard Simonson.
That's the one.
Where are these guys? Where are these guys from? Finland?
So those last 2 guys are from Norway. They're Norwegian.
JJ Stenard. $1 made up name. The father of Sleepy Tombs, Leaky Mausoleum. Who are these people?
I don't know. These are the names that they selected.
Well, as long as they're sending money, right?
All right, next up.
What?
After the Leaky Mausoleum, who's out? Who else?
That's it.
No, there's more.
My God, there's a bunch more. All right. Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 Fanatic,
yep.
Spike the Rock Cat,
yep.
Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Asho Lionel, Spike's Mom, Blackmore Tights.
There you go.
Done.
All right.
There you go. That's an honor for our core level patrons to get the names read by none other than Pops himself.
Oh, in person, baby, in person.
That was good. That took a while, but you did way better with the names than I thought.
It took a while.
Well, I'm a name guy. After dealing with all them Greeks in my business, I get the names down pretty good.
Oh, that's just as funny now as it was then.
Yeah, I've had a good 6 months away from it to just really appreciate just how great that moment was. And I wish I almost wish we could freeze that patron level so we could use that recording every time.
I know.
I love my favorite part is you're like, it's taken a while, but because it took like 2 minutes to get through all the names.
Well, because you zip right through him. He's like Flight of the Rat, That Blue Light.
And that was one of the most genius ideas that you've ever had, was like, hey, let's have Pops read because you knew it just would have you knew it was going to be like that, and it delivered on everything it promised to be.
I mean, I knew too that he was going to like halfway through he's like, who are these people?
Hey, at least they're giving you money.
I know. Oh, Yeah, that was great. He's calling, you hear my mom in the background, like clanging pots and pans and everything. Like, oh, that was a good time. I knew that was going to be number one.
It was gold. It was absolute gold.
Yeah, that and let's not forget your dad. Like, as soon as you were driving away, he's like, "Yep, I was." As soon as the truck was going down the street, I'm moving my shit into his room.
They're not lying. They're not lying. Both my parents had to talk about the tape on the walls.
Yeah, but but I realized after hearing these two that they had varying accounts. Your mom said 3 days. Your dad said 2 months. It took to get the tape off.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember it was I remember there was a lot of complaining about it. I was like, hey, you're getting back these rooms. You should be happy. But hey, before we wrap up the episode, we'll do a slightly shorter and less funny reading of the actual patrons. So that would mean, let's see here. We'll get my stuff ready. Okay, so to read the patrons, we've got our foundation level patrons. So first of all, heyo, our newest patron, Simon Ford, at the £3. What was it again? Oh man, I already forgot. I typed it up here at the top of the show notes. The aromatic feed tier.
That's
the
it.
£3 aromatic feed tier. Simon Ford, our newest patron. Thank you so much for your help and support. Coming in at the $3.33 halfway to evil tier, Raph Calf and Spike the Rock Cat. At the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, Peter Gardeau, Ian DeRosier, Mark Roback, Duncan Leask, Stuart McCord, Flight of the Rat, Bat Blue Light, Ivan Fieldboo. It's a great life if you know we can. Runar Simonson. It's a great life if you know we can. JJ Stenard, Ruinous Inadequacies, and Mike Catan. And coming in at the $1 made-up name tier, we have the May Sealed Tombs Be Forgot, Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 fanatic, Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel, Blackmore Tights, and John Maselli.
Well, I'm glad they didn't name me Fred.
All right. Well, thank you to all of you for your generous support for the Deep Purple podcast. We couldn't do it without you. Oof. All right. Well, what do you say, John? We got. What's that?
Look at that. A successful end to our very first Clips show.
Another year in the finally we're they finally unlocked the basement. We can come out now.
Oh, thank God. The power's back on, the basement door's unlocked, we're saved. And look at all the great memories we reminisced about.
Oh, I'm glad we got to reminisce on the good times. But hey, before we had talked about doing something before we wrap up the episode, and that is we wanted to it's the new year. We're putting a bow on 2022. And we are, going into 2023. Hard to imagine. Maybe in 2023 we'll be seeing Deep Purple again with Rich. I keep thinking maybe they'll come to Chicago and we'll do that, but it seems like they're maybe just coming down the East Coast and getting on another cruise. So they didn't come last time. So who knows? But who knows what the new year will hold? We got a bunch of shows lined up for you. But to say goodbye to the year, you thought that last week you'd heard the end of this album, but we got to bring Glenn out to close out the year for us in proper fashion with the quintessential New Year's song. So you ready, John?
I've never been more ready.
Here we go. You might not recognize this New Year's song just yet.
Oh, I know this one.
That famous New Year's song. This is, of course, from Glenn Hughes, A Soulful Christmas. What did he say?
Who knows what he's saying?
Something about kindness. is the way to ring in the new year.
Like, I feel like this would be playing in like a Manhattan high rise while you're looking out over the city.
In like a very
posh party
looking apartment.
Yeah, not unlike the one that
Unlike
Glenn
this.
is standing in.
With fake sunflowers in a vase.
Actually, the more that I look at this, it's just this. I don't know. This apartment looks really depressing. Like,
Looks like a doctor's office. Like a waiting room for a nice doctor's office.
he's just like, yeah, I'm here for my yearly screening. Hey, Glenn, can we take a picture?
Explain some of those high notes he hits.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just waiting to get my colonoscopy. Hey, can we take a picture of you?
Well,
Yeah, it does. It looks like a
when they
freak.
hit the prostate exam because we'll hear him hit a real high note.
Oh, they have the gold records for Stormbringer in your doctor's office. Yeah, that's why I go here. Come on.
That would be amazing. I wish I could tell the other one. Oh, the other one might be burned because there's another one on the side of Stormbringer.
Yeah, it's really hard to see, but
They're not even records. They're actually like CDs. I think I'm bringing this out. We had to play our Christmas music during our Christmas celebrations. I think I'm gonna have to bust out this for our New Year's when we're making a really nice. We usually make a nice little dinner, like a late dinner, instead of whatever Miley Cyrus bullshit they're playing on the TV. I'm like turn the volume down. Like we gotta listen to "Old Lang Syne" by Glenn Hughes.
that was the most the most old man sentence I've heard you speak.
What?
Just turn off that Miley Cyrus bullshit and
We ended up watching like the whole Miley Cyrus special last year. My children were scandalized. They still talk about it. Like, oh, that was inappropriate.
I didn't even know she was still doing anything.
She did. Her like top fell off last year.
Oh, just last year.
Well, that's the only year I remember seeing her. But she ended up like bolting off the stage so they could refat. It wasn't a very large top to begin with, but it gave way.
I think that's really funny. It's like, what was it, like 20 years ago? Janet Jackson's titty popped out at the Super Bowl and everybody went berserk. And now it's like the same thing basically happened to Miley Cyrus, like what, last year? Nobody friggin' even heard about it.
I don't think you saw anything on TV. I mean, I didn't see anything anyway. I just saw her being like, oh, I better get off stage. And she ran away. She wasn't wearing much to begin with.
I don't know. I just feel like I could have a wardrobe malfunction. Boing, nobody hears about it. Oh, my zipper.
Where the malfunction happened.
My
Church,
zipper broke.
Work.
Church. Yeah, not me. I'm not having no wardrobe malfunction at church, mainly because I'm not at church.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not having any sort of wardrobe at church.
Is this over yet?
I got it. Yeah, brevity was not his friend on this album. Like Old Lang Syne is like generally you only ever hear it like it's a minute long when you hear it on like New Year's Eve.
But I mean, also like the dentist's office jazz. That's like
Well,
it's just.
This is what you'd be hearing in that waiting room.
It's. But it is. I mean,
instead of those blinds behind him, you need a bulletin board where there's like pictures of like their kids that people sent in. You know?
like post braces.
Thanks for the braces. Look at
Like
my
pictures that
smile.
are all like this. With people, but that's the thing is like when I heard that Glenn Hughes had a Christmas album, in all seriousness, I'm like, wow, awesome. This should be pretty cool. And then I don't know, I made it through like 10 seconds of the first song, and I'm like, ugh, this is what it's gonna be like. No.
I mean, it's very smooth. I gotta say, the more I listen to it, the more I like it.
Oh no, Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, I mean, it'd never be my go-to because it's just that style of production just grates on me. But yeah, it's just
When you hear like the keyboard fretless bass.
Yeah, they're using the little pitch wheel to make it sound like it's a real bass. Yeah, I wonder if it's like the standard Christmas album where they just had like somebody prepare all the music and then they just brought Glenn Hughes in to do his thing, or what it was.
That would be my guess. I mean, I mean, when I heard that he had a Christmas album, I wasn't expecting it to sound like, Burn, but I mean, I didn't think it was going to sound like that.
Yeah, it's the production. It's all in the production.
Yeah, it was just dull.
Yeah, I have to think if all of those songs were about 50 to 60% the length that they are, and then the production was different, you could have been onto something good there. But
sure.
Hey, I think we talked about last week. A Christmas album is a stab in the dark. If you hit it big, you hit it big. It's pretty low risk but high reward. You throw it, you put it out there, and if it catches on, you've got royalties coming in for generations. And if it doesn't, well, you got a lot of coasters on your hand. But hey,
I mean, geez, look at Mariah Carey, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that wasn't the worst move she ever made.
Yeah,
not that she needed even that money, but she did okay.
But I mean, come on. I mean, and I mean, I could be ignorant here, but does anybody? I mean, that was part of a Christmas album, right? I assume. Does anybody know any other freaking song on that Christmas album?
Good call. Not I, but I'm sure some people do. But
Nope.
It doesn't matter, right?
Nope. But you're right though. You record a bunch of these public domain songs, and like you said, one of them hits it big.
She was even smarter than that. She wrote that friggin' song, so she's just raking. She's making everything from it. It wasn't even like her re-recording a classic. She wrote the song, and that's where the money is. So she wrote it, and she got all the recording rights. If anyone, and people are starting to do covers of it now, because it's such a popular song. So she's making 50% of everything anyone else is throwing out there. So it's just like, I mean, God, just from a business standpoint, what a genius. She lucked out.
Mm-hmm.
Not Christmas until that song comes out for a lot of people. So.
Oh yeah, there were memes about it now.
Yep.
I mean, there have been for a while. It's time to take Mariah Carey out of her tomb or whatever,
out of her hyperbaric chamber. Like,
yeah.
I saw the one where she's like frozen in ice. I was like,
yeah,
it was right after Thanksgiving. Like they're starting to thaw her out for Christmas.
Yep. And then when it's over, they're like, oh, back in the chamber, back in the ice chamber, back in the freezer for another year.
Exactly. Oh,
but hey,
she's living the life, man. Good for her, man. Nothing but respect for her to be able to do that. Oh, all right. Well, John, another year under our belt. Can you think we've done top podcasting in 2019, in 2020, in 2021, in 2022? We're entering our 5th year of podcasting. Whew.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow. That's hard to believe.
Who knows what wonders lie ahead?
More of the same, but with better production values.
Yeah, more of the same. And log those timestamps for me, or even better yet, clip it yourself and send it to me. So next year I can have it real easy. We'll just have Zaz announce it and we'll be good to go.
Who's Zaz?
Zaz was the lovely lady announcing those numbers before the.
Right, but I guess that, but who is it?
She's a voiceover actress. I hired her to do that.
Okay. I was wondering where the things came from.
Yeah, she's a lovely lady. Did a fantastic job. And I just put the effects on it and popped it right in before the songs. It was wonderful.
All right, no, that's great. I mean, she could be a child murderer. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure she's not.
Good.
I mean, I don't have any evidence to support it either way. But
she's a lovely lady. She could be a monster. I don't know.
She's very lovely to me, and she recorded some nice vocals. So.
No, yeah, sounds good. Now I feel bad.
It sounds better than just me going number 13. Like, you don't want to hear that. You want to hear a pleasant voice.
No, yeah, it was. It was actually very very cool intros into all the clips. So
yeah. Well, John, Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy. I'm like happy. I don't know. Happy 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the ball's about to drop, so we should get out of here so we can watch the ball drop and then Yeah, we'll be back at you next week in 2023 with a fresh, hot new episode, hot off the hot out of the podcast machine.
Oh, we're gonna be cranking them out after I don't know. We're gonna be cranking them out. All right, now let's go before our balls drop.
Ending 22 on a great note.
Ending 2022 on a low note as usual.
we're just limping to the end here. It's like we're trying to fill time. All right. Well, I'll talk to you next week.
No, we don't have
John.
to. All right. Yeah, I'll see you later. See you next. See you next year.
I see what you did.
Zing!
I think we did that last year. All right. Later.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple Podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also leave us a review in Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.